here she is. She's nothing special, but she gets the job done. I am set up to do flatbed, but if you're worried about that and you're doing power only and think it's going to limit you, I very rarely use my flatbed equipment. Never used a chain or a binder since I've been doing this. Have used my own straps maybe twice, but even if you're doing flatbed and power only, most of the time they have their own equipment. You would just need the basics like a bar or something to tighten straps down. So don't let that worry you. My truck is stretched. It has an extension here in the middle, so it's a little bit longer than your normal truck. One thing I do highly recommend is putting on extra long hoses and electric line there. More so for my truck because it is extended, but excuse me, I do a lot of tanks and on chassis, and those chassis that when they hook up, the front of them's right there on the fifth wheel, but the hookups are even further back, so sometimes you need some extra long ones. One of the things I'm going to do here in the next couple months is put a spindle hook and some kind of bumper hitch on the back of this thing. I'm looking for one that will hook right up to this frame where I don't have to do any drilling or cutting. I don't know if that's going to be something I'm going to have to rethink. Probably going to have to start doing, order whatever I can get and do some drilling and put it on there. But I miss a lot of loads because I don't have a spindle hook or a ball hitch. Some of these agents just have no idea what they have, and so when you look at it on the board, you have to ask lots of questions, because sometimes it might be just a bumper pull travel trailer. The agent lots of them don't even have any idea, so I miss out on quite a few loads like that. Some really good paying loads too with the spindle hook, because they get desperate for somebody to move something. So that's going to be my next project, putting that hitch back there and a brake controller. I do have the super singles, not a big fan, but last year I put 2 brand new tires on this back axle, and those are $1,000 a piece, so I'm going to use them up. Have a nice little storage bin right there, have lots of crap in there. My truck's been sitting for a few days now, so it does have a very slow air leak. I don't know if you guys can tell, it's sitting down at the back. Got my cheap Chinese tires on there. They've been okay so far. And that's about it for the tour. Like I said, it's just a cheap truck. When I bought it from Jordan Trucks, and it had been wrecked. I don't know if you see right there, the step is bent. This step right here on the storage bin is completely missing, and this thing is bent but it's drivable. Oh yeah, over there I have my APU. Now I paid $25,000 for this truck, and this APU by itself, if you guys price those things, those are about $12,000, or they were a couple of years ago. I'm sure they're more expensive now, but that thing is awesome. But yeah, that's my setup right there. It needs a lot of TLC. Whoever had it before me just ran it, and I've been slowly and steadily trying to bring it back to what it should be. But it's got almost 800,000 miles on it now, so it's almost time to just park it and get me maybe something a little bit bigger that will fit me. So this is the inside. Nothing special. Definitely needs to be cleaned out. I need to have it taken, get it detailed somewhere. This is a T660, a 2015, so has the same radio I'm sure every other truck has. Has a few extra gauges on here. What else? The seat over here is just a basic seat sitting on a box. It's a little storage box, which comes in handy, but when somebody rides with me, they're not very comfortable because this seat does not move up and down or reclined at all. Let me show you the back here. Very small sleeper. This is a mid-roof truck, and it's just way too small for me. I'm always hitting my knees or my head, or get back there. So here's what we got. So it's just got the minimal amount of storage on here. Keep my printer up here. If you're going to have your own authority, or even if you're leased onto a company, you definitely need a printer. Got my food in there. Two things you absolutely need. You need Tony's Shenanigans and your Tabasco Chipotle. Got all kinds of emergency foods in there. Got my vacuum cleaner over there. I don't carry very many clothes on here because I'm usually not gone very much, but I have a little closet over here, keep a few clothes in. Now normally down here I will have my cooler, have one of those plug-in coolers when I bring food, and I'll put my coffee maker on top of that. But I have a little inverter down there. And what else? I do make my bed every day, believe it or not. Okay, over here I keep extra food back there. I have a skillet I can cook on the truck, and I had some damage on my fender over there. I didn't show you guys, but I bought a fiberglass kit. I'm going to repair that when I get a good day for it. I bought this little TV at Walmart. It actually plugs into a cigarette lighter. I was thinking it was like 90 bucks. So got my coffee stuff in there. Bought this little shelf here at Walmart. I think it was like $8. Keep my toothbrush and my brush in there, and then all my old paperwork, all my rate cons and everything, I keep them in there. Comes in real handy. Oh yeah, let's see. So I have this, which I use a lot, especially when I go on longer trips. I'll cook myself breakfast or dinner. You know, it uses these little propane bottles, and it really comes in handy if you have trouble with your bunk heater or something. In an emergency, I can heat the truck. I just have a little mop bucket for my trash can. Do have some storage under the seat, but not a whole lot. And that's about it for, you know, the truck tour inside. My permit book, cleaning stuff. This is my Wi-Fi hotspot. I use that with my laptop when I'm doing carrier packets, and I have it hooked up to my TV. I can watch YouTube and all the other apps and stuff on there. What else we got in here? You know, it's just a real small truck. I wish I could show you how much trouble I have getting through in the middle of these seats, but I'm a little over 6'1", and the truck, I can't even stand up straight in the back here. Let me see if I can turn this around real quick, show you. Okay, so now I'm just standing flat-footed, and I'm not even, you know, trying to stand up straight. Let me show you with my hat off. So it's not quite 6 foot tall, but the real headache comes in as you go down. The ceiling goes down, and you have this. So when I first got it, even though I would tilt my head to try to get under here, boom, I do that about every other day. Keep a headache. But let's see what else. I do have a Rand McNally tablet that I don't use anymore. The only reason I was using it lately was just to keep track of my mileage for IFTA. But that thing it freezes up all the time, and takes me on some weird routes. I usually end up using, well, what I end up doing, what I've done lately is, a buddy of mine had been using Trucker Path. They have a GPS on there, and I started using it, and that thing works great. So that's what I use now. I do have this radio I bought at one of the truck stops. It's one of the nicer ones, but I very rarely turn that thing on. Too many people using foul language and, you know, being that super trucker. But I do have a dual antenna hookup for that. But the guy who had this last time, I don't know what kind of attachment he had on the back of his radio, but he put some weird connector on those antenna cables, and I haven't. I'll need to cut that off and find an adapter for my radio, and I haven't found that adapter yet. So I have this temporary line run outside to that antenna. I do have. Let me show you what I got here. Have my little notebook where I keep my bills of lading, my blank ones and stuff like that, and where I can fill out my paperwork on top of here. You gotta have those blank bills of lading. This is my manila envelope. This is where I keep my receipts. I usually keep this thing right down here, like that there, and when I get a receipt, I will, let's see, get my fingers out of the way here. I'll throw it in there, and then I have my categories written down, what the receipt is, and I'll write the amount down and put that receipt in there. And that way I just, at the end of the year, I don't have to go through all my receipts. I just have, boom, the amount there in the category. I think I saw that on YouTube somewhere, the YouTube University. But that's it, nothing special. It is what it is. It's a $25,000 truck that's paid for itself several times over. And starting out, you don't need anything special. I've seen lots of comments from guys saying, well, I can't do it until I have my truck and my trailer paid for. And lots of guys and gals commenting, oh, you need to get your trailer. You need to get your trailer. And I will eventually get a trailer, but right now I'm really loving the power only. This truck isn't the perfect truck for power only, because when I pull a van, you guys can imagine half the van is sticking up above the cab of my truck, and it a lot of drag. You don't get the best fuel mileage when pulling a van, but it's done the job so far. I definitely cannot complain. It's been a good truck so far. I am looking for another truck. I don't know if I'm going to buy a new one or if I'm going to buy another used one. And when I do, I'll probably keep this truck for a backup. But that's it, fellas. Lots of you asked for a truck tour, and you want me to shut up and stop talking and see the truck. So there you go. This is my little garage layout. I always keep extra filters, at least enough for a couple of oil changes. I have some in my truck also. As I've said in other videos, having one extra oil filter or fuel filter on your truck, that can save you thousands of dollars. You break down out in the middle of nowhere, all you have to do is change that filter. You just saved yourself thousands of dollars right there. So cheap way to save yourself lots of money. This is just a little bitty closet, as you can see, and so I keep my grease. I cut out, there was a shelf in here, I cut it out, slid this old toolbox back in there. But yeah, that's if you do your own maintenance, you're gonna need something like this, because you're gonna need lots of things to help you out doing your maintenance. You don't want to be going back and forth to the auto parts store for crap. Yesterday I bought myself a new impact wrench, mainly because I live in a fairly nice neighborhood and I don't want to be out there working on my truck with a pneumatic impact wrench. You guys know how loud those things are, so I broke down and bought a new impact wrench. Gonna see how well that works if it stops raining today. Oh yeah, where am I at? Oh, this is sort of turned into my throw it down and fix it later spot. That's my old seat off the truck. I'm gonna try to fix that thing. Don't know if I can or not. The back's broken. There's my shocks I bought yesterday, but I got a call. So I talked to a friend of mine a couple of days ago. He lives up in Arkansas. He drives for a guy that has several types of dump trucks. And the guy went down, he does all of his own maintenance. Guy went down, tried to buy oil and couldn't find any. They were almost sold out everywhere. And so it got me to thinking, I'm almost due for an oil change. I use the Shell Rotella, the T4 normally. I have in the past used the T5, the semi-synthetic. But I've been getting that for pretty cheap at Sam's Club. And so what I'll do is I'll buy enough. If I'm gonna do an oil change, I'll go ahead and buy an extra one so I don't have to go back to the store anytime soon. So I had enough for one oil change, which I got the T4 at Sam's Club. So when he told me that his boss was having a hard time finding oil, when I got home yesterday, I thought, you know what, let me go down and just check and see if that's the same case in my area. And it is. They were sold out everywhere of just diesel truck oil. I don't know why. I searched on the internet, tried to figure it out. Nobody seems to know why. So I went everywhere. I went to Sam's Club, did I go to Tractor Supply? Another store in town called Atwood's. And I went to Walmart, and they were sold out of everything except for the Dello 400. And that is an oil I used to use a long time ago. I think that's what's recommended in those Cummins. But they had, I think, 11 gallons left, 11 and a half gallons. And I bought all of it. That's all they had. They had some of the cheaper Walmart brand, but not very much of it. So I have enough now for 2 oil changes, and that's it. So I don't know, I'm assuming that the major truck stops aren't gonna run out because they buy in bulk. But if you do your own oil changes, you might want to just run out and see if you can buy some oil and have it on hand. Like I said, I always keep all filters and oil here as much as possible. I bought some DEF. I usually keep a couple of gallons of DEF on the truck. You never know, you might run out in the middle of nowhere. And if you can see over here, let me show you real quick. This is my mess from my last oil change. And this is what I've got. I've got these 2 tubs. I bought them at Lowe's, and they're for mixing concrete or mortar or whatever. And they're like $10, $15 a piece. So they're perfect for sliding up under the truck. I use one of them when I'm draining my oil and the other one for my fuel. And when I'm done, what I do is I come back in here and I keep, I kept those old oil bottles from a long time ago. And I'll come back in here and I'll drain it into the old oil bottles, and I put them in the back there, and then I'll take them to a recycling facility. So that's my little process. Usually only takes me it takes me less than an hour to change my own oil, and I save myself lots and lots of money. Show you something else here. I always keep supplies of crap in my garage. So this is the water that I use on my truck, and oil stabilizer. I put at least 1 gallon in there when I do an oil change, sometimes 2 gallons. It recommends more than that, but I don't, most of the time it's just 1 gallon I put in there. So there you go. That's a tour of my old truck and my little setup here.